So here's what you need to know about audio reviews, or maybe I should call this how to read or watch on YouTube audio reviews. Before I get into the subject matter, though, a couple of things. First, there's going to be a music review at the end of this little rant. And the other thing is, I'm coming up on 50,000 subscribers. And I'm really excited about that. This channel's about 1.5 years old. It's growing really well, and it's thanks to you guys and your support. I really can't thank you enough. I mean that, I really do. It's been a great journey so far. I'm having a really good time making these videos. I hope that comes through, because it is, to use the cliche, it is a labor of love making videos. I made my living as an audio writer for 22 years. I've been doing this for 1.5 years, and I gotta say, this is really exciting and unexpected on my part. And the comments, of course, are all over the place, but there's intensity there, which I really appreciate, passion in you guys, what you're saying in the comments. So again, thank you so much. Which leads us to the purpose of this specific episode of the Audiophiliac Daily Show, which is about reviews and how viewers or readers should use reviews, right? Now, the first thing I have to say is the viewer has to have some sort of relationship with the reviewer for the review itself to have any meaning. In other words, you have to have read a bunch of this given reviewer's work to know where they're coming from, because context is everything when it comes to review. You have to be, or you should be, in line with their tastes and their approach to audio for the review itself to have any meaning. You know, if they're into classical music and you're listening to EDM, it's not relatable. It's not going to be what they think is good about a specific component or speaker or something, may not be, you know, useful information for you. So, I mean, that's a first thing. I mean, if they are reviewing speakers in a huge loft space and you live in a tiny apartment, again, their results may not really be relatable or useful to you. You know, if they're using really expensive electronics and you have an old Sony receiver and that's what you're going to be using, again, the results may not be terribly, won't predict your satisfaction. Now, of course, some reviews come with measurements. And again, if you use measurements, if that's part of your strategy for determining which products are good versus mediocre or bad, then the measurements will be useful. If you can interpret those measurements, or the writer or reviewer can help you interpret those measurements, and you can take what they've said and relate to it and find those useful to predict outcomes in terms of your satisfaction with a given product, then the measurements will be useful. You know where I stand at that. They're not, but of course, this is an individual thing. That's the point here, is that the reader or viewer of reviews, their relationship with the reviewer is key. If you don't have a relationship, if you don't know where they're coming from, a positive review, a negative review, a meh review, it doesn't mean anything, right? In reviews of audio or restaurants or movies or anything, you have to know where the reviewer's coming from for the review to be useful. I think I've said it. And of course, as always, I'm interested in your feedback about that. I mean, who do you trust, so to speak? Or in video land and in print? I'd be interested to hear. As for the music review, well, here's the story. I was at a Barnes & Noble bookstore, and they were playing, incredibly enough, a big chunk of this thing. Rockabilly Meltdown, from Sun Record artists. Sun, you know, was a big deal, especially in the 50s and 60s. They had Elvis. They had Johnny Cash. They had Jerry Lee Lewis. They had Carl Perkins, Charlie Feathers. They had the giants of early rock and roll, all on this little tiny Memphis label. And some online comments about this specific collection imply that some of these tunes are outtakes or something. They're not complete. There's a rawness to the sound. And actually, I think in the context of what it is, I think the sound quality is actually pretty good. It varies a lot from one tune to the other. There's no mastering credits. There's no real credits to this record. There is a nice 28-page booklet that's full of, if you want to read about the history of Sun Records and rockabilly and early rock and roll, get this puppy. Now the thing is, I can't find this on Tidal. That's the only streaming service I look for, and it's not there. So I bought this CD, which is three CDs. Most of you may not play CDs anymore. Maybe you can buy it and rip it, because 3 CDs with literally over 30 tracks, 35 tracks per disc. Price, $12 or $13. Cheap, really cheap, and I love it. I just keep playing this thing. I mean, rockabilly is not exactly high on my list of the music I listen to, but I'm just devouring this music. I love this collection. I played all 3 discs many, many times, and I'm head over heels in love. And there's just this rawness to it. There's this go for it thing that happens. Now it's funny that they're all Sun Records artists, and a lot of them are trying to sound like Elvis or Carl Perkins, and that's understandable. But remember, in the context of this record, Elvis wasn't Elvis yet. He wasn't the king. You know, he hadn't gone to RCA and had all the huge hits. But he was coming up there, and he had raw talent. And certainly Jerry Lee, actually my favorite of this pack, whew, man, he could play. He could just tear it up. So maybe Spotify or your favorite streaming service has the Rockabilly Meltdown. Look for it. If not, figure out a way to play the CD set. Spring for the $12. I think we've done it. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is very much the Audiophiliac Daily Show, which comes up, as it implies, daily. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Get me to 50,000 subscribers pretty soon. It's going to definitely happen, or I hope it happens in April, in early April, I'd say. You could check out my Patreon, which is at patreon.com/audiophiliac, and I'll thank you in advance for doing that. Thanks so much for watching.